Charlie Kirk's event over the weekend lost one of his headliners. Matt Gaetz yanked at the last minute. Reason? Well, apparently Trump wanted him in Washington, like immediately. The timing couldn't be more suspicious, just as the Epstein file controversy reaching nuclear levels, just as MAGA tears itself apart over transparency, just as calls for a special prosecutor hit fever pitch. Gaetz gets the call. George Papadopoulos says there's only one option. Tony Saruga wants total transparency. Even trial lawyer Robert Barnes laid out the playbook. Trace the money. No redactions. Trust no one except Gaetz. Is Trump about to drop the hammer? Is this the move that changes everything? Well, the swamp is panicking for a reason, so stay locked in, folks. Now, you probably think your 401k is safe, but it wasn't designed to make you wealthy. It was built to shift retirement costs and risks onto you, leaving your savings exposed to crashes, inflations, and chaos. But Americans are waking up and taking control of real assets like gold. And Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands secure their future by converting part of their 401k into a tax-advantaged gold IRA without penalties or headaches. It's safe, it's simple, and smart. Visit nextnewsgold.com to get your free wealth protection kit. Discover how to safeguard your savings. Open a qualified account today and receive 2 5-ounce silver America the Beautiful coins free. That's nextnewsgold.com. Your exit from the danger zone. That number on the screen, 877-646-5347. Write it down. Give him a call. Tell Colin Gary said, what's up? All right. So the dam is breaking everywhere. Check this out. This is from MSNBC just a few hours ago. MSNBC reports that there's real panic in the White House right now. A lot of people have gone quiet. A lot of people have gone dark, but they recognize that the MAGA turmoil over Trump's Epstein cover-up is not going away anytime soon. Watch.
Social media influencers like Benny Johnson, the like, who took to Twitter X over the weekend, really trashing President Trump, which we never see before, accusing him of hiding things, accusing him of not being honest about this list. And Trump's efforts to try to quell this storm, his Truth Social post, nearly 1,000 words over the weekend, did exactly the opposite. I mean, Truth Social, let's remember, this is a Donald Trump created and owned platform. This is the first time I've ever seen him be ratioed, meaning he got more comments, in this case, almost overwhelmingly negative comments, than he got likes and approval, stamps of approval for that post. There's real anger here. And as you noted, Joe, his post had so many, suggesting that there was no list, but yet it was written by the Democrats. He was talking out of both sides of his mouth. And I'm told, back to you guys here, there's some real panic in the White House right now. A lot of people have gone quiet. A lot of people have gone dark, but they recognize, those that are talking recognize right now, this is a problem. It's a first time they've had a problem like this, and they don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. But
it's not going to go away anytime soon. Now, check this out. This was one of the big stories over the weekend. Matt Gaetz right here, hustle bitch, writes, breaking, Matt Gaetz pulled from Charlie Kirk event summoned to D.C. by Trump. Gaetz won't be at the Student Action Summit today. Trump wants him in D.C. Now the question, is he being tapped as a special prosecutor? I got this tweet sent to me a bunch of times. George Papadopoulos weighing in here. He says there can only be one option for special counsel to investigate the grand conspiracy to weaponize justice by the Democrats. That is Matt Gaetz. Trial lawyer Robert Barnes calls for a special counsel to handle Jeffrey Epstein files, lays out exactly how to do it. Gaetz would be excellent. Check this out.
Where would you look and what would you do?
So well, we know a good name for to be special counsel. I'm for, of course, Trump backing Pam Bondi and putting in a recess appointment as Attorney General. But this person could also be an excellent special counsel, and that would be Matt Gaetz. Because Matt Gaetz has a degree of independence, confidence, because you need somebody that people are, it's like Robert Kennedy on vaccines. If Robert Kennedy comes out and says this is going to be safe and effective, a lot more people are going to believe him than if anybody else is in that position. So you want somebody that when you hear, you say, okay, I trust their representation. But they need to disclose information, including trace the money. Well, where's all the bank and financial records? That has nothing to do with child pornography. That she's like, oh, we can't disclose anything. What, the bank records are child pornography? I don't think so. The photos of Bill Gates showing up on the island? That's not child pornography, unless Bill's just an overgrown 6-year-old. So there's a ton of follow the money. That's where you start. Yeah. Follow the money, you'll unwind everything else when it comes.
Now, listen, you hear what he said? He said, follow the money. Follow the money. Follow the money. Show me the money. Right? Well. Who knows where the money is? Who was the guy counting all of the paper in Washington, D.C.? Who was the guy doing it? His name was Elon frickin' Musk. He was the head of Doge. He followed the money. He followed the paper trail. What do you think it led to? Probably some pretty frickin' dark places. Am I right? We broke that story. We broke that a couple days ago. Now you're hearing it everywhere. Because everybody knows we're right. Follow the money. Okay, Laura Trump, check this. It gets worse, though, folks. Laura Trump here, all right. Now, Laura Trump, obviously a member of the Trump family. You heard the report from MSNBC, panic in the White House. They realized that they effed up big time. All right, they dropped the frickin' ball. They send out their surrogates for months. Yeah, we got the list. We're going to give you the list. Here's the list. It's on my desk. Wait a minute, there is no list. So what do? They send out Laura Trump. Laura Trump. Laura, go on Benny Johnson's show right now. We need you. Go talk to all of Benny Johnson's friends and people who watch him. We needed to plug the dam immediately. Yeah, so they called Benny Johnson to do the dirty work. Watch.
And he hears all of the consternation out there, and I think he's going to want to set things right as well. So I believe that there will probably be more coming on this, and I believe anything that they are able to release that doesn't, damage any witnesses or anyone underage or anything like that. I believe they'll probably try to get out sooner rather than later because they hear it and they understand.
I don't know, man. Dude, just watching her body language, she's just. Oh, Laura, come on. I'm watching her body language. Her eyes are darting all over the place. Watch.
Or anyone underage or anything like that. I believe they'll probably try to get out sooner rather than later because they hear it and they understand it. So hopefully we'll see that happen sooner than later. And I guess that would be my advice. But to everybody out there who's all worked up about it, there's no great plot to keep this information away that I'm aware of. I do just believe that.
I don't think that you would be privy to that, ma'am, with all due respect.
Maybe it's been slow rolled for reasons that hopefully we understand down the line. And I think we're probably going to get more transparency on it.
Okay, so you're going to get more transparency. Well, how can we get more transparency? I got an idea. Let's let Ghislaine Maxwell go in front of Congress. Yeah, did you hear this? She said she would go in front of Congress. She's like, I will testify. I will go under oath. And I will spill the beans. Oh, and then what happens? Oh, shit. Ghislaine Maxwell, she says, is now being blocked by congressional Republicans after she said she's willing to reveal the Epstein client list. Uh-oh. Willing to reveal the client list, but being blocked by congressional Republicans. Wouldn't that be awkward? Could you imagine her sitting there in Congress? I swear under oath to what I'm about to testify to, so help me God. And she's looking in the face of her freaking clients right there. Can you imagine that? How awkward that would be? Oh, yeah, that guy was there. I remember when he did with her. Oh, that guy over there, he was too. Yeah, I got the goods on all you guys. No wonder they don't want her to testify. She knows how tiny all their dicks are. You follow me here? I don't mean to get all crass, but come on. This is what we're talking about. No, you can't testify. But then, of course, there's this theory. We've heard it before. I see it in the comments all the time. Chase Geyser says Epstein didn't die. Instead, he believes he's alive and under witness protection, and he suggests Bongino and Kash Patel may have been forced to support that specific narrative to protect the larger operation targeting the deep state. Yeah. You ever seen the movie My Blue Heaven? Yeah. Just think of that as like Jeffrey Epstein somewhere with a nose job. Okay, so here we go. We got more Roger Stone on the case. Who else? We told you the White House is panicking. Everyone's panicking because they dropped the frickin' ball so hard. So they call in Laura to go on Benny Johnson, plug the dam. She looks sus, as I can see. And then Roger Stone. Roger Stone goes on with another angle The Clintons are in panic as he calls for Ghislaine to testify in Congress and reveal names.
She was, of course.
Is Ghislaine Maxwell in the seat of honor at the Clinton wedding? The only one. Bill Clinton has a sole daughter.
And the train stations looking.
Please unpack this relationship.
Well, she was, of course, Epstein's pimp. She was in charge of trolling the bus stations and the train stations looking for, children who had no parents or who were estranged from their parents. They're the easiest children to kidnap and traffic. She was making all the arrangements for him. I think she knew his business inside and out. She, again, by the Biden administration, she was charged with conspiracy to engage in child sex trafficking. But yet again, in her case, no other conspirators are identified. The U.S. attorney who handled the Epstein case and the Maxwell case and the P. Diddy case, another cover-up, all the same people. This is Damian Williams, the Democrat U.S. attorney in the Southern District of New York, and Maureen Comey, who just happens to be the daughter of one of the great orchestrators of the Russian collusion hoax, who himself, I suspect, will be facing charges very shortly. James Comey, the former FBI director. So I would really love to see Maxwell testify. I think we would learn a lot. But what we learn is going to exonerate President Trump. I'm sick of this claim. Oh, Trump is in the files. I've seen the files. Yes, it's absolutely true. On one occasion, Donald Trump and his wife, Marla Maples, and his daughter, Tiffany, flew from New York City, actually Teterboro in New Jersey, to Palm Beach on a Friday and flew back on a Saturday. That proves what? We have the testimony, both written and in a 6-hour interview I did with Virginia Giuffre, who said that Trump was only in Epstein's home once, and that was for a public event, for a charity event, and he acted like a perfect gentleman.
There was some deposition material that was released approximately 1 year ago, 18 months ago, from some of the Epstein victims. And they were asked constantly about President Trump, and none of them even knew him or ever saw him. And this is available in the documents.
Okay, so yes, we know that Trump was on the jet one time, and that's not a secret. Roger Stone saying, I'd like to see the news that Epstein's pimp is ready to testify. I really like the news. Epstein's pimp is ready to testify before Congress. Bill and Hillary are going to be very embarrassed. She has nothing on Trump. Well, sadly, we're learning that she is not. She's been blocked by the Republicans. Check out this.
He was.
Here's Ghislaine back in 2023.
No, he didn't. I don't believe he did. I believe that he was murdered while shocked. And I wondered how it had happened. Because as far as I was concerned, he was going to. I was sure he was going to appeal. And I was sure.
Yeah, so she was shocked when she heard the news. Maybe he's in the witness protection program. Maybe, maybe he did not do something to himself. Okay, she says she's prepared to testify before Congress and expose the truth, but it's not going to happen. Gaetz pulled from Charlie Kirk event summoned by Trump. George Papadopoulos, trial lawyer Robert Barnes, we did that. Fire Bondi, Gunter Eagleman. Recess appoint Matt Gaetz. Make D.C. tremble. I'd love to see that. Here is my buddy, J.R. Majewski. Please let the blonde, MAGA Patriot says, please let the blonde bimbo be gone. I'd love to have Matt Gaetz. I've heard Tom Fitton, even Alina Habba. She'd be great, but Bondi needs to go. If it's either her or Patel or Bongino, I'm with the FBI guys. Pack your bags, Pam. We don't need another Bill Barr in our midst. Let's listen to JR's take. I love this guy.
So now we have to figure. All right, if you haven't heard the news of the day, sounds like Pam Bondi is out as Attorney General. Big fallout today between Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi. They supposedly turned in a letter of resignation. It's either them or her, and well, whatever. Sounds like Pam's out. So we shall see, but that's coming on good authority. So now we have to figure out who's going to be the AG. I've heard it's going to be Matt Gaetz. Yeah, Matt didn't show up to Turning Point tonight. He's been texting some friends, and we'll see. You might say, well, Matt can't pass the Senate confirmation. He doesn't need to. The Supreme Court ruled back in 2014 that you don't need Senate confirmation if Senate's in recess. And, they go on recess in August. You don't think that Senate's going to want to vote on whether or not Matt Gaetz comes or goes when they've got like some huge vacation plan now, do you? No, they got to go to those NGO vacation spots in Abu Dhabi and shit. They can't miss out on that.
Love it.
Oh, man. Matt Gaetz. I love it. Love to see it.
I'd love to see it too. You know why? Because I was pissed. I was pissed when I heard him resign and leave his seat in Congress. And then when he got the appointment to AG and he backed out of that, I'm like, come on, let's go. Then he goes on, what is it, One America? I think he's got a show there, One America News or something like that. And I'm like, come on, dude. You're going to be a talking head now? No, we need your voice. We need your backbone. We need your backbone in Congress. We need your backbone investigating these scumbags. So when I heard the news that Matt Gaetz was, heading back to D.C., I was rather excited. Come on, Matt, let's go. Come on. So this happened over at the Turning Point event over the weekend. Charlie Kirk asks the crowd, who do you guys prefer, Bongino or Bondi?
Bongino or Bondi? He's
sorry.
not
Who
saying,
would you guys prefer?
Okay, yeah, let's go.
reporting is Bongino. It's Bongino or Bondi. He's not
Who
saying.
would you guys prefer, Bongino or Bondi? Okay, 7,000 to 0.
They want Dan. Of course, Dan. You know why? Because Dan understands MAGA. Dan's part of the MAGA movement. Dan's been an important piece and a mouthpiece for like really important ideas and an advocate and a fierce warrior. He's been in the trenches. I mean, with all due respect to Pam Bondi, she's been in Florida. She represented the president. It's nice, but do you think she really gets MAGA? I don't think so. She wouldn't have behaved this way if she did. And now it's a time for choosing. It's a time for choosing. Reporting is Bongino.
A time for choosing, my friends. And who will be chosen among the faithful? Will it be Matt Gaetz? Let's check this out. Here is Jack Posobiec at the Turning Point event.
And I'm getting sick and tired of being lied to. I'm being sick and tired of all the lies. And by the way, I don't care if those lies are coming from someone with a D next to their name or someone with an R next to their name. I'm sick of the lies, and I'm calling you all out.
And then, of course, we find out the Republicans block Ghislaine Maxwell. What the hell is going on with that? Huh?
So, I got a question. How many people in this room, raise your hand, you hear about January 6th? You guys remember January 6th, right? How many of you supported a January 6er through donations, through money, through tweets, through social media? How many of you stepped up to support January 6th? Let's see a show of hands. Incredible. Well, let me tell you something right now. I will not rest until we go full Jan 6 committee on the Jeffrey Epstein files and every single client that was associated with this thing has an FBI agent at their door on their phone going after them the same way they went after the Jan 6ers and the peaceful patriots and the praying grandmothers that were on those steps. That's how we should go after every single person that was in the Epstein client list.
Let's go. I'm all for it. I am all for it. Now, let's take a listen to what Alex had to say about 24 hours ago.
Years of saying, as you know, I just call balls and strikes. And after years of saying they will release the Epstein file or list, suddenly they're not going to, and we're told it doesn't exist. But then Trump comes out last night and says, well, it does exist, but the Democrats had control of it, manipulated it, which is actually true. They've had control, but they would destroy anything they didn't want in there and leave what they wanted in there that their investigators could plant. So people say, well, then whose side are you on? This is a giant fiasco. I'm trying to call balls and strikes. I'm trying to look at every angle of this and understand what's happening, understand why the Trump administration did a 180 the last few months, and particularly the last week, and did this, and then blames loyal supporters that support the overall agenda as being traitorous for doing this. Now, we all know what triggered this. It was Elon 2 months ago saying, look, Trump's in the list. and that big breakup there. And then Trump wants it closed. He wants it shut down, which looks extremely incriminating. But from all of my deep research, never saw Trump involved in any illegal activity with Jeffrey Epstein. So we are simply here tracking this case, not choosing a side, not wanting to make things be what we want them to be, but simply looking at the facts. But I dropped the ball. I didn't even think about the fact. I'm like, oh, yeah, if they've had the list and they've had the files for years, the Democrats would take stuff out, destroy it. Well, that's obvious. They would leave in and twist and put in what they wanted. They have a long history of false documents, reports, Crossfire Hurricane, the list goes on and on. January 6th. So we've got to investigate this. We've got to keep open minds about this on all angles. But this is the big story. And it
is the big story right now. Let's keep going. What do we have here? Fox News poll in Florida. Trump got ratioed on truth for the first time.
I think I agree with the president.
I do not agree with the president.
I do not agree with.
I actually do agree with the president.
Unfortunately, on this one, I don't think I agree with the president.
I kind of side with Bongino and Patel in this situation.
I do not agree with the president. I think that Pam has brought a secretive energy to the administration and that it is not a good look for the president at all.
As much as I like the president, I do think that that is a little bit of mistrust put into the people.
I think there's a lot of instances where the president should just keep his mouth closed and not give out.
So here's Donald Trump's post that was made 7/12/2025. What's going on with my boys? And in some cases, gals. They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world, and selfish people are trying to herd it all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals over the Biden administration who conned the world with the Russia hoax, 51 intelligence agents, laptop from hell, and more? They created the Epstein files just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton, Christopher Steele dossier that used on me, and now my so-called friends are playing right into their hands. Are we? No, we're not playing into their hands. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? If there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why did they use it? They haven't even given up on the JFK or Martin Luther King files, no matter how much success we have, secrets on securing the border, deporting criminals, fixing the economy, energy dominance, safer world. I mean, it just keeps going on and on and on. On and on and on. He says, let Pam Bondi do her job. She's great. That's what she's looking at as AG and much more in the 2020 election. The hottest country anywhere in the world. Let's keep it that way and not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein. Nobody cares about. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Well, sorry, but people do want to pay attention to this matter. And we want answers. What is Russell Brand saying? What the hell is he wearing? You wearing a toga, like with no shirt on? Please, Russell, put a shirt on.
And that Mr. We went from, I've got thousands of hours of footage. I've seen Jeffrey Epstein. He was with Bert and Ernie out of Sesame Street. This pair of them was noshing him off. He had Elmo, who, I mean, I don't know how old Elmo is, but I've seen Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. They was tonguing Elmo. Right, they had Big Bird and the Snuffleupagus, and they was ramming him to, there ain't no files. We ain't seen nothing. There's no list. I don't know. Can you tell me how to get to Epstein Island? Well, we ain't got no list, motherfucker. Now I'm going to tell you. We went from...
we ain't got no list. Okay, what's this? Naftali Bennett, as a former Israeli prime minister with the Mossad, having reported directly to me, I say with 100% certainty, the accusation Jeffrey Epstein somehow worked for Israel, the Mossad, running a blackmail ring is categorically and totally false. As a former president with the Mossad, that's what I would. That's exactly the post I would expect him to write. Yeah, please. Sophie Rain thread breaking. The Epstein investigation repercussions sparking alarm in the Trump administration. Officials worry the issue will persist, further splitting their supporters. MAGA is now burning MAGA hats after Trump and Epstein response today. Trump asked, okay, what's this? Go on.
Officials inside the White House are very frustrated because they feel like this news cycle is only getting worse for them. It is not from people that they can easily dismiss or say it's the media or Democrats. It is their own base that is so furious and so angry over how they've handled this. And the question is how they get out of it, and it could result in the departure of the deputy FBI director over this.
Deputy? Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah. Bongino's
grossly incompetent. What good does it?
Okay, here's Trump. Here's Trump.
I have learned so much about the news. I so admire honest reporting. There's not that much of it, though. We really don't have that much. And I think to make America great again, you need at least, we have to get a bigger percentage than we have. And nobody understands why. Why would somebody make up stories to make Biden look good when the man was grossly incompetent? What good does it do? I mean, other than lose credibility, they're down at the lowest number for credibility that they've ever had. They're way below Congress, which is very interesting. I have learned.
Here's look at what? MAGA hats being burned now?
Hats are off. America First hats are on.
Now, okay, let's just be very clear. Anyone could just go buy MAGA hats and set them on fire and just make a claim. So I don't know if this is a true MAGA supporter or not, if this is a representation of the entire movement or just a faction of people pissed who are just expressing themselves with lighter fluid and a Bic lighter.
Burn, baby, burn.
Ouch. Yeah, that's painful to watch. But, there's a lot of people in the movement right now who are very, very pissed.
Mr. President, the LA reporter asked you about.
Here's more from Trump. Axios on HBO.
Ghislaine Maxwell. You said, quote, I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, but I wish her well, whatever it is. Mr. President, Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested on allegations of child sex trafficking. Why would you wish such a person well?
I don't know that, but I do know that.
She has. She's been arrested for that.
Her
you know that.
Friend or boyfriend,
Epstein,
was either killed or committed suicide in jail. She's now in jail. Yeah, I wish her well. I'd wish you well. I'd wish a lot of people well. Good luck. Let them prove somebody was guilty. I mean, do you know that?
Oh, so you're saying you hope she doesn't die in jail? Is that what you mean by wish her well?
Her boyfriend died in jail, and people are still trying to figure out, how did it happen? Suicide? Was he killed? And I do wish her well. I'm not looking for anything bad for her. I'm not looking bad for anybody. And
yeah, so, I mean, wish her well is not a statement of okay, anyway. Here we have more. 22 hours ago, Steve Bannon joins Alex Jones, another patriot, on calling President Trump to reveal all the Epstein files to the public and restore trust with the American people. Now, as you recall, Steve Bannon was claimed to be in the Epstein files by Elon Musk, a factor we're still trying to get to the bottom of, but let's listen in here.
I mean, Steve Bannon came out last night and said that Trump has to release everything. And Bannon went on to say that if this scandal continues, and I totally agree, that they could lose 40 seats in the House of Representatives, the midterms, in less than a year and a half. I mean, this is taking defeat from the jaws of victory here. This is a self-inflicted wound. This is like watching Trump cut his fingers off or something. I mean, this is just not fun. And I need Trump to succeed. The Democrats want to put me in prison. They are openly destroying the country. Trump, on his economic policies, is so much, tax cuts for working class, trying to stop the wars, controlling the border, upscaling Border Patrol and enforcement, and all the lies he goes through. I've chewed the same dirt. I've crawled in the same political foxholes as Trump. My God. It like I said a week ago, tears my guts out.
Yeah, Alex is pretty sick over this whole thing. Here we have Michael Wolff says Epstein showed him about a dozen salacious photos of Trump and Epstein with topless girls underage. Photos were apparently kept at Epstein's home in New York City that was searched by the FBI. Michael Wolff says he's seen pictures of Trump with girls.
And I think I know that these pictures exist. 2 of them with topless girls of an uncertain age sitting on Trump's lap. I remember Steve Bannon said to me, if there were ever photographs, and this was specifically related to Russian investigation, Trump would merely say, "That's not me. That's somebody else."
Fake news.
And I think that is probably true. I mean, why? I mean,
well, if those pictures exist, how come we haven't seen them yet? Seems like it'd be pretty damning photography that Democrats would love to just put out and end Trump once and for all. 24 hours ago, General Mike Flynn tagging Donald Trump. He says, "Donald Trump, please understand the Epstein affair is not going away. If the administration doesn't address the massive number of unanswered questions about Epstein, especially the abuse of children by elites, it's very clear that abuse occurred. Then moving forward on so many other monumental challenges our nation is facing becomes much harder. Trust was deeply violated by both Biden and Barack. That administration must be above reproach." Here we have more. Republican Mike Lawler says it's time to move on from Jeffrey Epstein and his crimes, though.
He's dead and buried.
Over the weekend, President Trump said that the allegations in the Jeffrey Epstein files were at least partly fabrications from Democrats, which is why they should not be released. But there are a lot of people in his movement, like Steve Bannon, who say no dice. They want a special counsel. They want everything to come out. What should happen in this Jeffrey Epstein morass?
Listen, I'm probably not the person to ask because I don't speak in conspiracy theory, but at the end of the day, there's a lot bigger issues facing this country than Jeffrey Epstein. The guy is dead and buried. Let's move on.
Yeah, just move on. Nothing to see here, right? President. Yeah, but those people who partook in the activities alongside him, they are not dead and buried. Here we have Stephen Hassan, Ph.D. 48 hours ago, the MAGA machine pushed the Epstein file conspiracy as proof of elite corruption until the facts started to point back Trump. Oh, is that right? Well, here we have this guy here. Trump and Epstein had a long, disturbing history. Okay, sure. What is this? I'm not sure. Let's see. What is this? This is, I'm going to read the community notes first. This is an old episode of Dan Bongino, so let's not rehash that. Here's another. Okay, so we have a lot of claims here from the left claiming that Trump was with little girls, flew on the jet 7 times. Okay, here we have more. Tony Saruga appointed special prosecutor Matt Gaetz to investigate without any guardrails. Tucker Carlson. Let's hear this. Tucker Carlson says Bongino got shafted.
And someone who respects him.
Well, as we're recording this, Dan Bongino is threatening to resign if Pam Bondi does not resign as AG. What does that tell us, in your opinion?
Well, it tells us that Dan Bongino shafted, completely shafted. And I'm saying this as a friend of his and someone who respects and likes him, but also just as an observer, an informed observer of it. So Pam Bondi, who's, by the way, I don't hate Pam Bondi. She's a totally nice person. If she was here, you would enjoy, I don't know if you know her, but she's a very nice person. I'm not against Pam Bondi in the slightest. But the fact is, she got on television on Fox News and started saying stuff like, I've got the client list on my desk. And actually, no, you don't. And I've got thousands of videos of Epstein having sex with kids. Well, actually, no, you don't. Most of the material was commercial porn taken off his computer. Like, that's just not true. Why did she say that? Probably because she's insecure and she's trying to please the audience, I would expect.
Do you think Dan is upset because his integrity is being questioned now over her mistakes?
Oh, my gosh. So you're Dan and you're a media figure and you've got one of the biggest podcasts in the country and you're making tons of money and you're having a great time.
Bingo. Bingo. Dan sees the posts. He sees the social media. He sees the pressure. He's like, man, my entire reputation is being thrown in the shitter.
Which he was. You just built this brand new studio in Florida. You work with your wife, who you really like, which she does. And you get the call saying you'd be deputy FBI director. And you're like, I love Donald Trump. I love this country. I will, cut my pay by, into a tenth of what it was. And I will leave my house and move to D.C., which is a kind of prison sentence itself. And I will do this because I love the president. I love the country. And you're there a few months. And all of a sudden, everybody thinks you're covering up Epstein's crimes. And it kind of wrecks Dan's career. Like, he can't go back. It's going to be very hard at this point. I mean, things may change. But as of today, pretty hard for Dan to go back to his podcast audience and be like, I'm telling you the truth, when they all think that he's covering up for Epstein. Who did that? Bondi did that. And I don't know that she did it on purpose. I'm assuming not. I don't think she's a mean person. I've never gotten that sense. But for whatever reason, she went out there and said things that were not true, that she could not back up. And then they issued this memo thinking that it would clear everything up.
That was embarrassing.
And I guess they're just so dumb, they didn't realize that if you tell everybody you have the tapes of these crimes and then you issue a memo saying you're not going to prosecute anybody for the crimes, what are you saying? I'm covering up for the perpetrators of these crimes. Duh. They have no one with an IQ over 80 over there to read the memos? Are you kidding? You know, I'm not exactly sure how that happened, but I do know that it leaves a guy like Dan in a horrible position.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Here's Megyn Kelly going off on Pam Bondi.
Things he's focused on. I just don't think this has captured his attention quite yet. But it needs to, because it's starting to create a real hornet's nest within the administration. And I've got to be honest, I blame Bondi. I'll tell you why, okay? I have nothing, yes, incompetence, yes. I have nothing against Pam Bondi as a human being. I was fine with her nomination and her confirmation, and she's been loyal to the president, and I get that President Trump needs a loyal attorney general. Look what happened with Sessions the first time. He went away, and then the next thing you know, we had the Mueller investigation, and it was a nightmare. But there are a lot of other people who can be loyal and competent in that job. Here, she is the reason that things are unraveling around this story right now that virtually all of the Republican Party cares deeply about. It's also true that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel had questions about Epstein before they took office, okay, before they went into the FBI. But once they joined the FBI, they said nothing. They kept their mouths shut about Epstein. You have not seen them, except for one joint appearance with Dan and Kash on Fox, running all over the media looking for attention on this, yes, clickbaity story. Who have you seen? Pam Bondi. She has never missed an opportunity to go on television and dangle sweet nothings that might be coming your way. Try to lead you to believe that she's got it, it's on her desk, it's coming tomorrow, you're gonna see something on Epstein. And it was a tease. So you either believe that Pam Bondi was telling the truth then, or that she's telling the truth now, but both cannot be true. She was either lying when she went on Fox News those times saying, I've got it, we're looking at it, wait until you see it, it's horrible. Or she's lying in her 2-page memo that they released on a Sunday night at the tail end of a holiday weekend to Axios, as if Axios is where we all go for our news. Hell no. She went to someone she knew would not kick the tires on the story, and without signing the memo, dropped it in the dead of night and said, that's it, take the crumbs and be happy. Refused to come out and give a presser. Come out and give a press conference, stand 6 hours to the point where people are dying of boredom. They've asked all their questions. That's how you put a scandal to rest. But she wouldn't even sign her name to it. And I'm telling you, I have dollars to donuts. It's going to come out that there was internal consternation over that memo. And who's...
Yeah, it's all coming to a head. Here we have Mike. Let's go to this. Let's go to Roger Stone. Roger Stone, the solution. Here is the solution that he proposes for President Trump.
Case. The solution to this issue, because I too favor full disclosure, and I want to know everything about this case, is for President Trump to direct his Attorney General, to direct the interim U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, to move to unseal all of the jury testimony that was presented when the Trump administration charged Jeffrey Epstein with child sex trafficking and conspiracy to conduct child sex trafficking. And while they're at it, they should unseal the search warrants for his island as well as his palatial home in Manhattan, which are sealed at the request or the motion of prosecutor Maureen Comey. Everything you want to know is in those documents. It is the Trump administration, not the Biden administration, certainly not the Obama administration, that moved in federal court to bring Jeffrey Epstein to justice.
Roger Stone is on point as usual. Here is Rob Schneider urging Republicans to wake up.
Must be wrong. We've all encountered those leftists with Trump derangement syndrome, those who think anything Trump does must be wrong. But certainly, if someone is claiming that Trump's decisions are never wrong and must be carried out exactly, isn't that just another form of Trump derangement syndrome? So, in that spirit of humility and free speech, I ask these questions.
Wow.
Release all the Epstein files, no matter the consequences. This is America. We'll deal with whatever happens. Now, we have to also ask ourselves something else. Why are we so obsessed with Jeffrey Epstein while 300,000 children have been trafficked in America and are still missing? Why, another question, why is America still sending arms to Ukraine? I have and will always support Israel. Israel's different because if Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran had the capability on October 7th, 2023, on October 7th, if they had that capability of just continuing the attack and murdering every man, woman, and child, they would have done that. Israel is a free country, and Israel is a country that we must always stand by. But
and what if they had the Epstein files? Okay. Loomer joining for calls to a special counsel for the Epstein files. Here is this. Andrew Kaczynski. I had not seen this Fox News extended interview with Trump from 24, where they deliberately edited his Epstein answer where he won't commit to releasing the full files because of phony stuff in it. What?
Files.
Yeah.
The FBI, all those institutions.
You're right.
Some people think that one way to build trust is to declassify things that everyone's talking about. I know you talked earlier about, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. So if you were president, would you declassify, you can answer yes or no to these. Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would. At least.
And do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others. Certainly about the way he died. It would be interesting to find out what happened there because that was a weird situation and cameras didn't happen to be working, et cetera, et cetera. But you had to go.
Wow, I never seen that either. So I think we basically run the gamut here of everything. What do we have here? Here's Tucker Carlson.
The real answer, what the hell is this? You have the former Israeli prime minister living in your house. The real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably not American. It's extremely obvious to anyone who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government. Now, no one's allowed to say that that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed into thinking that that's naughty. There is nothing wrong with saying that. Criticizing the behavior of a government agency does not make you a hater. It makes you a free person. It makes you a citizen. You're allowed to do that because you're not a slave. You're a citizen. And you have a right to expect that your government will not act against your interests, and you have a right to demand that foreign governments not be allowed to act against your interests.
And I think we'll leave it right there. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is not just Twitter speculation anymore. When Trump personally pulls his top attack dog from major events, when establishment Republicans start calling for special prosecutors, when even Morning Joe is running clips demanding transparency, you know the dam is about to break. The Epstein files aren't just about a list. They're about a system of control and blackmail and corruption that's infected our government for decades. And now Trump has to choose. Protect the establishment that tried to destroy him or unleash Matt Gaetz to burn it all down. The MAGA base is watching, and they're done with excuses. They want justice. And if these rumors are true, if Gaetz walks into the DOJ with prosecutorial powers, we're not just getting names, we're getting indictments. So here's my question for you guys. Should Trump give Gaetz unlimited power to investigate everyone on the Epstein list, even if it destroys full institutions and careers? Will this solve the problem of their botched rollout of this list that doesn't exist? Yes or no? And don't forget to check out our merch shop, link below. Show the world that you are not afraid of the truth and trigger a liberal. We got Alligator Alcatraz, MAGA Avengers, President Otto Penn, our new American Badass section. Check it out at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.